Your liver may be in danger, even if your blood tests look perfectly normal. Silent imbalances build up slowly, often without symptoms. But today, you'll finally understand what your liver enzymes are really trying to tell you, and how to take control before it's too late. Have you ever looked at a blood test and wondered what those letters mean? ALT, AST, GGT. They look like codes, almost meaningless unless someone explains. But they are far from meaningless. They are actually the quiet voice of your liver, speaking to you long before pain or fatigue arrive. And if you ignore them, the consequences can silently build for years. Now imagine this. Your liver is one of the hardest working organs in your body. It processes every bite you eat, every sip you drink, every emotion you feel. Yes, even stress has an effect. And yet most of us don't give it a second thought until something goes wrong. But what if we didn't wait? What if we could understand what these enzymes are trying to tell us early enough to do something about it? ALT, AST, and GGT are not random letters. They are biochemical messengers. When your liver is under pressure, from poor diet, lack of sleep, alcohol, or even certain medications, these enzymes can rise. But here's the twist. They don't always shout. Sometimes they whisper, staying within the normal range, while your liver is already overloaded. Many people think that unless their enzyme levels are way above the limit, there's nothing to worry about. But that's not entirely accurate. The reference ranges used in most labs are based on population averages. And in countries like the US, where poor eating habits and sedentary lifestyles are common, those averages aren't exactly a gold standard of health. Let's say you consume a typical American diet: fast food a few times a week, sugary drinks, processed snacks. Even if you're not eating excessively, those ingredients put your liver into overdrive. And the worst part? You might not feel anything wrong. You wake up, go to work, live your life, all while your liver is fighting behind the scenes. Every elevated enzyme is a signal that the balance is tipping. But here's where it gets hopeful. The liver has an amazing ability to heal. It's one of the only organs that can regenerate itself if you give it the right conditions. That's why understanding what these enzymes mean is so important. It's not about fear. It's about clarity, empowerment, and taking control. So what can you do right now? Start small. Begin by looking at the labels of the foods you eat. Do they contain high fructose corn syrup, hydrogenated oils, or artificial dyes? These are known stressors for the liver. Swap those out. Hydrate more. Your liver depends on water to flush out toxins. Prioritize sleep. That's when your body heals. And perhaps more importantly, question the belief that normal is good enough. Your optimal might be far better than the average. You deserve a liver that thrives, not one that barely keeps up. These enzymes are your early warning system, and they're asking for your attention. Now, one more thing. If you stay with me through this journey, I'll share a bonus tip at the end. A little-known ingredient that's shown to naturally support liver health, especially for those living in places where processed foods are a daily reality. It's simple, affordable, and can be added to your routine almost immediately. But for now, remember this. Your liver may be silent, but it's always speaking. The question is, are you listening? In the next step of this journey, we'll uncover something surprising. How your liver can be in distress even when your blood tests say everything's normal. And why ignoring this could not only delay your progress, but also cause deeper imbalances down the line. You won't want to miss this. It's tempting to think that if your blood test results fall within the normal range, everything must be fine. But here's something that may change the way you look at your health forever. What's considered normal on paper may actually be the quiet beginning of a much bigger problem. Liver enzymes, especially ALT, alanine aminotransferase, and AST, aspartate aminotransferase, don't just spike out of nowhere. They often climb slowly, almost imperceptibly, as a response to constant low-grade stress on your liver. And that stress? It often comes from everyday habits that we've learned to see as harmless, or worse, as normal. Think about the standard Western diet: frozen dinners, microwavable meals, sugary beverages, endless snacks full of preservatives and artificial ingredients. These foods are convenient, yes, but convenience comes at a cost. Many of these foods contain emulsifiers, artificial sweeteners, seed oils, and especially high fructose corn syrup, all of which have been linked to inflammation and fatty liver buildup. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Your liver may be accumulating fat and inflammation before your enzymes even register it. In other words, you can have a fatty liver with completely normal enzyme levels. That's because blood tests only pick up damage once it reaches a certain threshold. Until then, your liver suffers silently, adapting, compensating, and trying its best to protect you. This is why some people are shocked when they get an ultrasound or MRI and discover fatty deposits in their liver, even though their blood tests looked fine for years. And unfortunately, by the time enzymes are noticeably elevated, your liver may have already passed through critical stages of stress. Let's talk for a moment about GGT, gamma-glutamyl transferase. It's less commonly discussed, but no less important. While ALT and AST can fluctuate for various reasons, GGT tends to rise in response to long-term oxidative stress. It's especially sensitive to alcohol, environmental toxins, and processed fats. Elevated GGT is now being studied as an early predictor not just for liver problems, but for metabolic issues like type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. So how can we become more proactive? We shift our focus from being reactive to being preventive. Rather than waiting for numbers to rise, we ask better questions. Am I fueling my liver with what it needs? Am I reducing my toxic load, even in small ways? Have I created space in my lifestyle for real nourishment? Start with small, daily shifts. Incorporate more bitter greens like arugula and dandelion leaves. They stimulate bile production, which supports liver detoxification. Use healthy fats like olive oil instead of industrial seed oils. Drink water between meals, not just during them. And perhaps most importantly, reduce your sugar intake. Even natural sugars can add up fast. Also, don't underestimate the power of stress. Cortisol, the stress hormone, can directly impact liver function by affecting blood sugar and fat storage. A walk in nature, deep breathing, or just pausing to slow down your meals can have measurable benefits. Here's the truth. Waiting for damage to show up in your labs is like waiting for smoke before checking if the fire started. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. But that doesn't mean it's harmless. When you look at your blood work next time, don't just ask if it's normal. Ask if it's optimal, because your body doesn't thrive in the average. It thrives in balance. And when your liver is balanced, everything else starts to align, from your digestion and hormones to your energy and sleep. What comes next could change everything. We'll take a closer look at a hidden ingredient in many everyday foods that quietly pushes your liver to its limit, and the simple adjustment that can dramatically lighten the load. Ignoring this next part might not only stall your results, but can unknowingly compound liver stress over time. So stay with me. This next insight is one of the most important of all. You've just learned that your liver can be in distress even when blood tests suggest everything is fine. That alone should shift how we think about health. But now, let's go one layer deeper, into a common daily habit that's quietly overloading your liver, one bite and sip at a time. And the most concerning part? It's hiding in plain sight, even in products marketed as healthy. I'm talking about high fructose corn syrup. This sweetener has become a staple ingredient in countless American foods, from sodas and salad dressings to energy bars and flavored yogurts. It's cheaper than sugar, sweeter than sugar, and nearly impossible to avoid unless you're reading every single label. But what does it have to do with your liver enzymes? Unlike glucose, which is metabolized by many cells in your body, fructose is almost entirely processed in the liver. When consumed in small amounts from whole fruits, it's not a problem. Nature has packaged it with fiber, vitamins, and water. But when you consume isolated fructose in large amounts, as found in processed foods and sweetened beverages, your liver goes into overdrive. Here's how it works. When fructose floods your system, your liver converts much of it into fat. Some of that fat stays in the liver itself, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. This condition is now one of the most common chronic liver disorders in the United States, affecting even children and teenagers. And it often begins long before enzyme levels rise. So how do you recognize the signs? You might feel tired, foggy, or notice subtle changes in digestion. But just like we discussed earlier, your blood work might still look normal. That's why understanding the metabolic impact of what you eat is just as important as any test result. And high fructose corn syrup isn't just a liver issue. It's been linked to insulin resistance, inflammation, and even an increased risk of heart disease. Now here's the part that surprises most people. Many health foods still use it. Some brands label it as corn sugar or simply list fructose in the ingredients. Granola bars, ketchup, bread, even fruit-flavored water. All of these can be culprits. That's why the solution starts with awareness. Start by reading labels. You don't have to eliminate sugar overnight, but aim to cut back on anything that includes high fructose corn syrup. Choose beverages that are naturally flavored or infused with fruit. Cook more meals at home where you control the ingredients. And when you do eat something sweet, pair it with protein or fiber to slow the absorption and reduce the metabolic load. There's also something powerful about reconnecting with whole foods. A piece of dark chocolate with nuts, fresh berries with chia seeds, or even a simple apple with almond butter can satisfy your cravings without overwhelming your liver. Another hidden benefit? When you reduce your intake of added fructose, you may notice clearer skin, better energy, and more stable moods. Your sleep might improve, and digestion may feel lighter. That's the liver doing what it does best, filtering efficiently, balancing hormones, and supporting your entire system. It's not about fear, it's about clarity. Knowing what to avoid is just as empowering as knowing what to include. High fructose corn syrup may be common, but it's not inevitable. Once you learn to spot it, you'll start making better choices almost automatically. And if you have children or teens at home, this is especially important. The younger the liver, the more vulnerable it is to overload. Helping them build healthy habits now will give them a huge advantage for years to come. Change doesn't require perfection, just intention. Swap one processed snack for a natural one. Replace one sweet drink with water or herbal tea. Each small shift lightens the burden on your liver and moves you closer to balance. What's coming next is one of the most critical keys in this entire journey. It's about the foods we consider healthy, and how the way we prepare them can determine whether they heal us or hurt us. Ignoring this next insight might not only limit your progress, but could unintentionally block your liver from regenerating fully. Stay with me. The next step is essential. By now, it's clear that what we consume, and how often, plays a crucial role in the health of our liver. But there's another layer that most people overlook entirely. It's not just about what you eat, it's about how you prepare it. The difference between nourishing and harming your liver can be as simple as your cooking method. Let's start with a food that many consider a liver hero: broccoli. It's loaded with a compound called sulforaphane, known for its powerful antioxidant and detoxifying effects. But here's what most people don't know. If you overcook broccoli, especially in boiling water or high heat for too long, you destroy much of that sulforaphane before your body ever gets a chance to use it. This is not just about broccoli. Cruciferous vegetables like Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale, and cabbage all contain similar liver-supportive compounds. But preparation is everything. Light steaming preserves nutrients, while overcooking diminishes them. Adding a squeeze of lemon or a sprinkle of mustard seed can even boost the availability of these natural compounds, making them more effective. Then we have garlic and onions, two humble kitchen staples with profound liver benefits. Rich in sulfur-containing compounds like allicin, they support detoxification enzymes in the liver. But here's the secret. When you chop garlic, wait about 10 minutes before cooking it. That resting period allows the formation of allicin to complete. Cooking it too soon can reduce its potency. Olive oil, often hailed as a healthy fat, is another great example. When used cold or for low-heat cooking, it protects the liver by reducing inflammation. But at high heat, it can oxidize and lose its protective properties. That's why sautéing on low or medium heat or using it raw in dressings is a smarter option. And don't forget about herbs and spices. Turmeric, for example, contains curcumin, which has been shown to support liver regeneration and reduce enzyme elevation. But curcumin alone isn't easily absorbed. Pair it with black pepper, specifically the compound piperine, and you enhance its bioavailability by up to 2,000%. This simple tweak turns a good choice into a great one. Unfortunately, many well-intentioned choices go wrong in the kitchen. Overfrying, using the wrong oils, or even cooking vegetables too long in the microwave can significantly reduce their health potential. That's why liver care isn't just a diet. It's a method. It's a mindset. Another key point is the balance between raw and cooked foods. While raw vegetables retain enzymes and certain nutrients, some compounds become more available after gentle cooking. For example, cooking tomatoes boosts lycopene levels, a powerful antioxidant beneficial for liver and heart health. The goal is not extremes, but balance. Let's not overlook hydration either. Drinking enough clean water helps the liver flush out toxins more efficiently. But here's an interesting detail. Warm or room temperature water is often more soothing to the liver and digestive system than ice-cold drinks, especially during meals. This level of attention to preparation might seem overwhelming at first, but once you integrate it into your rhythm, it becomes second nature. Your kitchen becomes your pharmacy, and your meals become your medicine. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start with just one meal a day. Choose one vegetable to steam instead of boil. Use fresh herbs to season instead of processed sauces. Use lemon instead of sugar to enhance flavor. These micro decisions build on each other, and the impact compounds over time. It's not about eating perfectly. It's about eating purposefully. And when your meals are prepared with care, they become tools of restoration, not just sources of calories. What comes next is one of the most revealing insights of this entire journey. We're going to dive deep into the real meaning behind rising ALT, AST, and especially GGT, and why this final clue could be the key to unlocking your liver's full potential. Ignoring this next part won't just slow down your results. It could unknowingly allow internal inflammation to linger beneath the surface. The next step is not to be missed. Once we understand that how we prepare our food directly affects how our liver responds, it becomes clear that health is shaped by the smallest choices. But there's another part of the puzzle that many people overlook: the actual numbers in your blood work. ALT, AST, and GGT aren't just technical terms. They're part of a language your liver uses to communicate with you. Let's start with ALT, or alanine aminotransferase. This enzyme is mostly found in your liver. When liver cells are injured or inflamed, ALT leaks into the bloodstream. That's why elevated ALT is often the first flag that your liver might be in distress. But here's where it gets interesting. Your ALT can still be within the so-called normal range, and yet be a sign that your liver is under pressure. For example, someone with a level of 35 UL might be told they're fine. But research shows that optimal ALT levels are often below 20 in women and below 30 in men. This means your liver may be quietly asking for support, even when your doctor says you're good to go. Then there's AST, aspartate aminotransferase. While it's also present in the liver, AST is found in other tissues like the heart and muscles. That's why it's most helpful when looked at alongside ALT. If both are elevated, it suggests liver involvement. But if AST is significantly higher than ALT, it could mean other organs are being affected, like your muscles, especially after intense workouts or injuries. Still, when both levels rise together, it's a sign that your liver is dealing with more than it can handle. Now let's talk about GGT, gamma-glutamyl transferase. This enzyme doesn't get as much attention, but it's one of the most telling. GGT is highly sensitive to oxidative stress and environmental toxins, including alcohol, cigarette smoke, processed foods, and certain medications. When GGT is elevated, even slightly, it's often a red flag that your body is experiencing deeper imbalances. In fact, some experts now see GGT as one of the earliest markers of metabolic stress, and even cardiovascular risk. It's not uncommon for someone to have ALT and AST in the normal range, but GGT slightly elevated. This could be an early sign that your detoxification pathways are overburdened. It's your body's way of saying, "I'm coping, but just barely." And that's exactly the time to take action, before things escalate. The problem is, many people never get to that point of awareness. They're told everything looks fine, so they carry on with the same habits, the same foods, the same lifestyle. But inside, the liver is working harder and harder to maintain balance. Eventually, that balance can tip, leading to fatigue, weight gain, hormone issues, skin changes, or more serious metabolic problems. This is why it's not just about watching numbers go up. It's about knowing what those numbers mean in the context of your life. What have you been eating? How much have you been sleeping? Are you moving your body? Are you holding on to stress? Your liver is reflecting your daily patterns back to you, and the enzymes are the mirror. The good news is that liver enzymes respond well to positive changes. Studies show that even 2 to 4 weeks of improved diet, hydration, and reduced alcohol can lower ALT and GGT levels. That's how responsive and resilient the liver is. But it needs the right inputs. If you've ever felt like your energy is lower than it used to be, or your digestion isn't as smooth, or your skin looks a little dull, don't ignore those signals. They often show up before your labs do. The body speaks in whispers before it screams. One simple way to support enzyme balance is by using food as gentle medicine. Include bitter herbs like dandelion and milk thistle. Eat slowly, chew thoroughly, and give your body time to digest. Avoid eating late at night when your liver is trying to cleanse and reset. These habits aren't complicated, but they are powerful. Your body is not broken. It's brilliant. It's adapting, compensating, protecting you every single day. And when you learn to understand what your liver enzymes are saying, you gain the power to partner with your body instead of just reacting to symptoms. Up next is something many people overlook entirely: a natural, simple preparation that brings everything we've learned so far together and offers a powerful way to renew your liver naturally. Missing this next step won't just limit your progress. It may keep your liver stuck in recovery mode longer than necessary. And that's something we can absolutely change. By now, you've learned how your liver speaks through enzymes, how lifestyle choices affect its balance, and how even small dietary decisions can make a big difference. But there's one more step that brings everything together: a simple, natural preparation that can help your liver not only recover, but thrive. It's called a liver supportive infusion. Not a supplement, not a capsule, but a warm, nourishing herbal blend that combines 2 powerful ingredients: dandelion root and fresh turmeric. These plants have been used for centuries across different cultures, and today, modern science helps explain why they work so well. Let's start with dandelion root. It's not just a weed growing in your yard. It's a medicinal plant with bitter compounds that stimulate bile production and support detoxification. Bile is essential for breaking down fats and carrying toxins out of the body. When bile flow is sluggish, your liver becomes stagnant. But when you support bile production naturally, you help your liver clear waste more efficiently. Dandelion also contains inulin, a natural prebiotic fiber that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. And since your liver and gut are closely connected, supporting one often improves the other. People who include dandelion in their routine often notice better digestion, less bloating, and even clearer skin. All signs that detox pathways are opening up. Now let's talk about turmeric. Specifically, the fresh root, not just the yellow powder. Turmeric contains curcumin, a potent anti-inflammatory compound that supports liver regeneration. It helps reduce oxidative stress and has even been shown to lower ALT and AST levels in clinical studies. But curcumin needs help to be absorbed. That's why we combine it with a small pinch of black pepper, which contains piperine, a compound that boosts curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Here's how to make the infusion the right way. Start by boiling 250 milliliters, about 1 cup of water. Turn off the heat and add 1 teaspoon of dried dandelion root and 1/2 teaspoon of freshly grated turmeric. Cover with a lid and let steep for 8 to 10 minutes. Then, strain the liquid and add a tiny pinch of black pepper and 3 or 5 drops of fresh lemon juice. Sip it slowly, ideally in the afternoon when the liver's energy peaks in traditional medicine systems. The lemon isn't just for flavor. It stimulates digestive enzymes and enhances bile release, giving this infusion a powerful synergistic effect. The warmth of the drink also supports circulation and helps the liver process nutrients more effectively. Make this a daily ritual, not a quick fix, not a trend, a steady practice. When you give your liver consistent, gentle support, it doesn't just survive, it flourishes. You may notice clearer thinking, steadier energy, more restful sleep, and even a calmer mood. And the best part? You're doing it without harsh detoxes, without expensive protocols, and without overwhelming your system. You're using nature's intelligence, working with your body, not against it. But remember, even natural remedies require respect. Don't overuse it. Listen to your body. If you're on medications or have health conditions, consult a professional to make sure it fits your needs. This approach is about balance, not extremes. Let this ritual be a reminder. Your health is shaped by what you do consistently, not what you do occasionally. And when you align daily actions with care, knowledge, and intention, the results go far beyond lab numbers. Your liver is central to your vitality. It affects your hormones, digestion, mood, and immune system. Supporting it means supporting your entire life. So share this knowledge. Pass it forward. Talk about it with your family, your friends. Help others understand that prevention is powerful and that the body is capable of profound renewal when we give it the right conditions. If this journey brought you clarity, inspiration, or even just one practical idea, take a moment to pass it along. Like it, share it, or subscribe. Not for me, but for the health movement we're building together. One step at a time. Because when we understand the messages our body is sending, and when we act on that wisdom, everything begins to change for the better, naturally and for good.